Hello, this is the Tradesight Forex Market Preview and Global Economic Data Roadmap for the week of July 7th, 2013, ending July 12th, 2013. Got the 4th of July holiday behind us now here in the U.S., so we've got a free, complete week ahead of us. No holidays here to speak of, and that should make for a cleaner trading week than what we just saw. As usual, charts here provided by eSignal 11. Here's a look at the dollar index. You can see we came back up to test the recent highs, which is also a static trend line. Stalled out exactly there on Friday after the unemployment data NFP number came out, which caused a spike in the market. So we have fulfilled the reaching the static trend line for now on that, and we're looking at potentially, if we can crack this, breaking the new highs on the dollar index for the first time in a while. Let's take a look as well at the euro dollar, and we've got a couple of breakdown points on some of these key pairs. Obviously, with the dollar making new highs, makes sense that we'd see some triggers here off the daily charts of the euro dollar, the low being 1.2746 back in April, and we'll be looking if we can break that area. There is, again, a static trend line right here that we just hit on the euro dollar as well. That's the red line right here, and we're just beginning a seeker count at this point in time on the euro dollar. Let's take a look at the pound. Again, another breakdown point on this one. Just 3 bars into, actually 4 bars into the seeker count, and it's the 1.4832 breakdown point on the pound right back here in March. It's a little bit longer pattern. Be interesting to see if we can break that. But certainly set up for it. Let's take a look at what we did intra-week this last week. Here's the euro dollar, and what you'll notice is, and of course we had the holiday for the 4th of July, what you'll notice is that we had a lot of very flat action and 2 big spikes on some economic news out of Europe on the 4th of July, and then the unemployment rate and non-farm payroll data on Friday here in the U.S. caused another spike down. So if you add it up, we were in about the 280 pip range for the week on the euro dollar, and you can account for 100 and about 60 pips of the movement right here on those 2 bars. So it wasn't a very exciting week for Forex. Most of it was very, very flat. So we look forward to something a little bit better this week based on the fact that we don't have the holiday to worry about, and we are in full swing for the 3rd quarter. Let's take a look now at the global economic data that is coming out so we can be aware of what we need to look around. Japan's current account and bank lending will be out on Sunday at 7:50 p.m. Eastern Time. You go to Monday, unemployment rate out of Switzerland, German trade balance, Eurogroup meetings, German industrial production, speeches out of ECB president. We've got the Bank of Canada Business Outlook Survey at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, consumer credit out of the U.S. We've got retail sales out of the UK that night, Monday night, M2 money stock out of Japan, CPI and PPI out of China. Tuesday early, we've got Japan's preliminary machine tool orders, retail sales out of Switzerland, trade balance, manufacturing and industrial production out of the UK. It's a lot of data at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time Tuesday morning. U.S. has really no data to speak of that day. Housing starts out of Canada. Tuesday night we've got monetary policy meeting minutes from the last meeting out of Bank of Japan, their CGPI and their tertiary industry activity. Wednesday, you got trade balance out of China at some point in time, consumer confidence out of Japan, German final CPI, French industrial production, Italian industrial production. Out of the U.S., we have wholesale inventories and crude oil inventories, along with our 10-year bond auction and the release of the minutes of the last Fed meeting and a speech from Bernanke in the evening on Wednesday after the market. We got the FPI out of New Zealand, along with business manufacturing index out of New Zealand, unemployment rate and employment data out of Australia. What's Wednesday night? China's new loans and money supply, M2 number out of China, due probably on Thursday. German WPI out of Europe, Bank of Japan's press conference. French CPI, ECB monthly bulletin at 4 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday. Italian 10-year bond auction, got UK's 30-year bond auction. Canada's NHPI, we've got unemployment data, usual unemployment and continuing claims data out of the U.S. along with import prices, natty gas, and 30-year bond auction out of the U.S. Also the Fed budget balance Thursday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the Australian home loans that night, revised industrial production out of Japan, industrial production out of the broad European sector, CB leading index out of UK, and we wrap the week up here in the U.S. with the PPI and the Michigan sentiment numbers. And that's it. So it's a pretty straightforward week. None of our big three here in the U.S., as we did have both trade bounce and unemployment last week. CPI will be coming up later in the month. We do not have a Fed meeting for a couple weeks, so it's pretty wide open just for trading, and hopefully a little more action than what we saw last week. We'll be trading it as usual in the lab. Have a great week.